whole West. And we got a chance to get together then, and what a group. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, I knew I had a lot to learn when I saw them play there. And in regards to what Eric and them said about me, I still think they're one of the greatest three-piece groups that you ever seen.
My first time hearing Cream, I believe, was in about 1967. About the same time I heard Jimi Hendrix. I was living in Virginia at the time, near Newport News. And I heard the album Disraeli Gears. I heard that before I heard Fresh Cream, and I went back and I found Fresh Cream, and it was a whole different kind of music for me, you know. And so, you know, just like Jimi Hendrix's music was really different. It was strange, but what I liked about it is the fact that there was a lot of blues involved in the music, and I thought it was pretty cool. Jack Bruce and his wailing vocals, I mean, I thought that was really great, and the way he played bass, nobody else was playing bass like that at that particular time.
Hendrix and us basically had created this very large audience of people who had turned on to instrumental, vocal, loud, whatever you want to call it, music, rock and roll, I guess, blues with blues in it.
First time I heard him was actually on the radio. I think it was Sunshine of Your Love, and being a drummer, it's just listening to how unique at that time that the drumming was. It blew me away. And
how quickly Eric progressed, and that was probably because he had no one to play with. So he put a lot of time in listening to records and getting his foundations right. When Eric left the Yardbirds, it was great because he didn't really live anywhere, you see, so I had a spare room at my house, and that enabled him to have free access to, my huge, at that time, record collection, which was, pretty hefty blues archive. So he felt it right at home in more ways than one. And then we did listen to so many records together and get excited about them, and they found their way into the repertoire.
I especially like the blues material that he did, like, the live album that came out with Crossroads on it, and Spoonful. Those were songs that, I had to spend a whole lot of time in my bedroom listening to what was going on. I thought those were great numbers.
So I got fed up with Graham. Graham was going in the opposite direction to what I was going. And I'd been running the band for about 3 years, and I decided that I wanted to get my own band together. And the first person that came to mind was Clapton. So I turned up in Oxford, where Eric was playing with John Mayall. And it was in a big hall. Eric saw me in the dressing room. I went in the interval and I said, "Oh man, you've got to sit in," So I said, "Yeah, I would love to," So, everybody stood up, and bang, it happened immediately. It was really changed the whole gig. So after the gig, I said to Eric, I'm getting a band together. Would you like to join the band? And he said, yeah, straight away. Eric said, what about a bass player? And I said, He said, what about Jack?
Ginger fired me from the Graham Bond band, but I refused to be fired, because he wasn't even the band leader.
Jack and I had several altercations during the Graham Bond days. I went, I really don't know, but you're right, he's a fucking good bass player. And so I said, I don't know, I'll go and see him. So next day I went round to Jack's place, and I haven't seen Jack now for about 6 months. And I knocked on the door, and there was Jack, and he was like surprised to see me as well. And we sat down and had a cup of tea, and I told him what was going on. That I'd seen Eric, and you know, this thing was happening, and did you want to come with us? And he said, yeah, and that was it. It was sort of like, let bygones be bygones sort of thing.
The first time we played was in Ginger's house, a little semi-detached house in Neasden.
It was like, out the back was the Welsh Harp, which is an artificial lake reservoir. And the kids all used to play over there, right? It was like fields all around it. And we're playing, and it's really happening. And we looked out the back, and you could see out through the French windows. And up on the hill above was just a pile of young kids, but all dancing, freaking out. They'd all come from all over the Welsh Harp. They'd heard the music, and they were digging it. And that was great. You know, it happened. It was magic immediately.
Hanging out, you know, that's, you know, bands start as a result naturally when guys hang out. You get 3 or 4 musicians that like one another, what they do, then they hang out, then they become a band.
It was pretty instantaneous. There was something there, you know, just a combination of, I mean, Ginger and myself, I'd played a lot over the years before, you know, jazz things, Alexis and Graham. I mean, with Graham Bond, we played 320 or 330 gigs a year, you know, it saves you practicing. And then the combination of Eric's, at the time, very pure blues playing, and our kind of pushing him beyond what he thought his limits were, I think. It was very exciting, yeah. The thing about Cream, the interesting thing was that the freedom that there was, that any of the instruments could be the lead instrument on stage, or even on record, I guess. But mainly on stage, at any time, the drums could be playing the melody, you know, or the guitar, or the bass, or the voices, or whatever.
When you play and you get into that sort of situation, it's as if something else takes over. It's not, you're not conscious of playing, but you're listening to this fantastic sound that you're a part of. Your part is just happening. It's just happening. It's like total freedom. You can practice forever and get the most amazing technique and say nothing with it at all. If you haven't got, it's a gift that some people have, and we three had it in abundance. And it so happened that for that period of time, that thing really working together just did what it could.
That would have showed up in all the blues things that maybe Jack and Ginger weren't quite as familiar with. And then the improvisational thing, that's a jazz quality, and that's totally where Ginger and Jack came from. They came from a jazz background, so that was their forte. And Eric, of course, was never playing the same any night in the Blues Breakers. In fact, none of my musicians ever do, because blues is part of jazz, and we improvise all the time. It's never the same any night in a row. But the free form aspect of it, where you abandon the changes or appear to abandon the changes, that's a jazz device, and that was right up the alley of Jack and Ginger.
It's interplay, and between the musicians. If they were talking, then without their voice, they were talking through their instrument, then that's what you're really hearing.
My guitar voice is my voice, and what I sing is, what I can't do on the guitar. I mean, and also when you're singing, there are words. There's a lyrical content that you're putting across that you're not doing with the guitar. The guitar is a universal language.
Just a little screw,
Well, you know, what I've always liked about Eric's guitar playing is the fact that he talks to you. You know, his guitar playing is conversational, and he takes his time. I guess hence the name Slow Hand.
He was born with the gift and just had a direction.
I don't think I've ever, until later on in my life, accepted it as a gift, you know, because that takes a bit of retrospect, you know, to look back and realise that, you know, that it wasn't just a coincidence that you happened to be a guitar player. But at the time, I just wanted to do it because I liked the music, I liked that style. And it seemed to me a little bit strange that I was the only one that did, you know? And at the time that I started playing, most guitar players were trying to be follow the other white players, you know, and I was much more, you know, very racial about it. I wanted to be like a black guitar player, and that to me, it's a bit of a, you know, strange sort of situation. I've never figured that out. It was between the age of 16, 17 to 20, 21 that I put all of my heart and learning into it, you know. That's, you know, I when everything else, I didn't go out and go drinking or anything. I mean, I just stayed at home and learned almost 24 hours a day from listening to records, but I was deadly serious about what I wanted to be.
As I rock the pedal, you can hear it through the amplifier. As I rock the pedal, it takes bass off and puts treble on. So you like that. So in actual fact, your volume isn't going down very much, but the tone is going wow, wow, like that.
That's probably the most important part of it, is being serious about it, or finding a kind of music that you like, and not just have it to be pop music or to be popular. You know, your motive has got to be right. I think to be serious about being a certain kind of musician and then fulfilling that, you know.
All these runs, you know, are put together from old phrases that I first started on, like. And now they're just all kind of messed up with other things which I learned like that, you know, which is.
I received a phone call from Jack and Ginger.
I didn't have a phone.
Right, well, it was a phone call from the studio saying, we've written this song and we need a lyric for it. Would you like to come down and have a go? You see, they both worked with me as backing my poetry and music situation, you know. Jack actually did one or two gigs with me later, but also Ginger worked with me before. Yeah, you did a couple of jazz and poetry gigs with me.
I see, right.
On string bass. Remember the Janetta Cochran Theatre, you did one?
Yeah. But I think really you were working with, you were trying to work with Ginger initially.
We did start with Ginger played on that big concert we did in '61.
I mean, like, to do it, you know, with Cream songs.
Well, Ginger knew me
right
better.
Right at the beginning, you started to work.
Yeah.
But you didn't kind of hit it off.
No, I mean, that's right. And
so I got you, you know, because you didn't hit it off.
The backlash, yeah. You know, I came out of the so-called beat generation, you know, and I came out of Kerouac and Ginsberg and all those people. But at the same time, the music that I liked probably had more influence on me than they did, you know, like blues things, Robert Johnson, T-Bone Walker, all sorts of people like that. The lyrics of those things probably had a lot more influence on me than other poetry.
The process of writing was very much the music first, and then Pete and myself working, hammering out the images. So that you know, he's very, you know, he's very kind of prolific.
I felt that what I was writing was, I've always felt this. I mean, in the best things that we wrote, I felt that I was just translating the music into words. I felt that it was there already.
He would have half a dozen ideas a minute, and I would sort of say, no, I don't like that one. I can't, just from the point of view of singing, you know, things.
The story is the sunshine of your love story, really, because we were sitting there in Bracknell Gardens, and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. We'd been writing all the time for hours and hours and hours and hours, and we were really getting fed up with each other as well. And then suddenly Jack, in desperation, grabbed his double bass. I still remember, this is actually true. I mean, he actually did this. He grabbed his old double bass, you know, and said, "What about this?" and play this riff. And I looked out the window, and it's getting light, you know, so I said, "It's getting near dawn."
I think he is not with us because because nobody cared about him enough, and I think nobody cared enough about us then either.
Strange Brew was Hey Lordy Mama, a blues singer, Eric did. And there was a guy in the studio called Felix Pappalardi, and we didn't know him. There was Tom Dow and Arif Martin, Ahmed Ertegun, and this guy, Felix Pappalardi, who none of us knew. And they introduced him to us, and he said, "That track you've just done," he said, "would you mind if I took it home and took the vocal off and put a song on top?" And we said, "No, man, go for it." And he came back next day with Strange Brew. That was it. We went, you know, yeah. And he wanted to produce a record, and we said, "Yeah, man, go for it." And he became our producer. He was a great guy. Listen, a band's as good as a drummer. A mediocre band with a mediocre drummer is mediocre, right? A mediocre band with a good drummer becomes a good band. A really good band with a good drummer becomes a super band.
The thing that I got from Ginger was that drums are a musical instrument. You know, there's more than just the hits. There are nuances, there are dynamics, there are colors.
You've got so many sounds on a drum kit, not just boom, bash, boom, bash. You've got so many different sounds on a drum kit, depending on how you hit it, where you hit it, you know. And it's using these sounds in the right place that makes the music better. And this is what Baby Dodds did, and what Max Roach does, what Elvin does, what Art Blakey did, what everybody does. You make the other guys sound good. You make the other guys sound good. That's your gig.
The interplay between the band influenced every band that was happening, including Vanilla Fudge, including, you know, probably Hendrix's band. You know, we used to play with all these guys, and it was like, you know, they were like it. You know, the trio, everybody was a superstar, and Ginger did a phenomenal job.
There were people who may have played double bass before, but nobody played them as a musical separate part the way Ginger Baker did. What he played on the kick drums were unique patterns that shifted across what he was doing over the top. Other people played double kick drum, but it was usually just because their one foot wasn't fast enough, you know, and just speed things up. And I thought that was just one more step. You really now have 4 limbs to express 2 levels of playing. That blew me away.
line, you know.
I think one of the greatest things that I ever heard on drums was Toad. I'd never heard anything as fluid before. It was, you know, in drums you have one hit at a time. It was a very percussive, very short duration note, but yet somehow everything kind of flowed and it rolled.
was in Texas on the big tour, the '68 tour, where Eric just said, "Man, I've had enough." And I said, "Yeah, man, so have I." And that was it, the end of the gig. We told Stigwood, I don't know whether he believed it or what.
We did what we set out to do, and I think we couldn't have done any more. I think it lasted just the right length of time to make the little statement that we had. I never thought that I would be in a commercially successful band. I didn't set out to do that. In my life, it just happened that way. I'm very glad that it did, though. It was a great experience.
I didn't really ever want to be tied down to a band. I mean, the minute it started to get too much like a prison or too routine, then I'd want to get out, you know. I mean, just the gypsy side of me, just moving on.
It was just the end of it. We did the Goodbye Cream concert at the Albert Hall, and we did the Goodbye album, which was some of that tour live, and we did 3 tracks in LA. And that was it, yeah.